Hi everyone, and welcome to UbiComp ISWC 2020, also from my side. My name is Santini, and I am the Editor-in-Chief of IMWUT, the proceedings of the ACM on interactive, mobile, wearable, and ubiquitous technologies. Papers can be submitted to IMWUT at 4 deadlines a year, on February 15, May 15, August 15, and November 15. Accepted papers are published in 4 issues per year, in March, June, September, and December. Authors of papers published in IMWUT receive an invitation to present their work at UbiComp ISWC. Already from the 2017 edition of the conference, UbiComp draws the content of its main technical tracks from IMWUT. And I'm very proud that from 2020, this is the case also for ISWC, which decided to join the IMWUT Journal First publication model starting from the February 2020 deadline. In the main tracks of UbiComp ISWC 2020, we are going to listen to the presentations of papers published in the last 4 issues of IMWUT, namely Issue 4 of December 2019 and Issue 1, 2, and 3 of 2020. All papers published in IMWUT undergo a very rigorous review process, about which I would like to give you some statistics. Since the very first deadline in November 2016, IMWUT has received more than 2,600 submissions. This is on average 660 submissions per year, or 165 submissions per cycle. The actual number of submissions, however, do vary significantly from deadline to deadline, with the February and May cycle regularly drawing more than 200 submissions. Of all the papers submitted to IMWUT, a total of 647 has been accepted and published in the journal. This corresponds to an overall acceptance rate of about 24%, although also in this case, the actual acceptance rate does vary from cycle to cycle. Of all the papers accepted in IMWUT, 122, 18% of all accepted papers, has been accepted on initial submission, which means without a request of major revision. The remaining 82% of accepted paper is instead published after a major revision. So while the bad news is that getting a paper accepted right away in IMWUT is fairly uncommon, the good news is that the chances of a paper being accepted after major revisions are fairly high. It is also interesting to observe that the majority of authors prefer to send their major revisions at the first resubmission deadline, and that only very few papers are never resubmitted and time out. I could go for long with more numbers and details about IMWUT, but I would like to take the last minute of the time I'm given to say thank you to the people who actually make the journal possible. This is first and foremost the IMWUT editors: Tanzim Chaudhuri, Taugu, Judy Kay, Thomas Plutz, James Scott, Jivan Hu, who work very, very hard at each deadline to run a high quality and very fast review process. I'd like, of course, also to thank the IMWUT associate editors who read and review all the papers that are submitted to the journal and at each deadline have to cope with an endless series of requests and review reminders sent by me and the editors. A thank you goes, of course, also to the IMWUT reviewers who volunteer at each deadline to review our papers, and to our authors, who I would like to invite and encourage to keep on submitting their best work to IMWUT. Thank you very much for your attention, and enjoy the conference.